Hi everyone, it's Jasmine from the Eternal Circle, also known as the Psychic Mummy. So we are going to be talking about spirit guides, spirit animals, and trinkets tonight. So I'm going to be talking about spirit guides first. That's going to lead up to our spirit guide meditation that we're going to be having in the next video. So spirit guides, how I see it is that usually people will have at least 3 spirit guides around them. So we've got the teacher, the healer, and the protector or the warrior. Now, I'm not saying that people will have all 3, and I'm not saying that they just have 3. Some people might have more. It all depends on the circumstances of someone's life, and it all depends on where that person is spiritually in life too. I'm not saying that a person who has more spirit guides is better. Certainly not. It could be that they're learning multiple things. It could be that they're busy with a whole bunch of different aspects, or they're multitasking, or what have you. People who have less spirit guides could be getting a wealth more knowledge than a person who has more spirit guides. It's just the way it is, okay? I can't tell you why that is. It just is. But to me, most people will have 3 main spirit guides, okay? From my experiences, is from what I've seen, is 3 main spirit guides. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the healer. The healer is the one that will step through when there is emotional or mental things that are going on. So transition wise, so like say transitioning from teenagehood to adulthood. Okay, there's a lot of pieces going on there. Things like emotional things like breakups, divorces, death. That's when the healer gets involved. Healer gets involved when, there is transition spiritually, growing pains, if you will, right? So the healer is quite involved in someone's life, I find. And I don't think there's a person that I know who doesn't have a healer involved in their life, whether it be spiritually or mundanely. Someone around you is a healer. Just think about it, right? Who's the one that you go to talk to, right? Who's the one that makes you feel more comfort? Okay. Does that person also have a bunch of people that come to them and talk to them too? Just take a minute to think about that. Or are you the healer, right? Do people come to you to talk to you? Okay. The next one I'm going to talk about is the teacher. Okay, the teacher, they come around to teach you, obviously, right? Teach you specific things, whether that be about yourself, self-knowledge, whether that be about mundane things or spirit things. When I think about spirit things, I think about symbology, dream interpretation, automatic writing, astral traveling, protection from entities, shielding, things like that. Mundanely, I think about self-growth. I think about perception. I think about change in personality or habits, right? That's when the teacher steps in. Lastly, we have the protector or the warrior. Okay, usually they're there to protect us from any negativity that we are facing, whether that is from other people or from entities. And yes, there are entities that can manifest in this world. I mean, look at poltergeists, look at exorcisms. right? And those are things that can manifest, right? So they're there to protect us from those things or to make us more aware of our surroundings. So they're kind of like the voice in the back of our head that says, hey, don't go down that dark alley. What are you thinking? So really, truly, I think that's the voice that tells you, like, don't do that. Like, you're going to end up hurt. All right. So it's up to us to either listen to that voice or not. Right. They also give us the power to stand up and fight for ourselves or for others. And they give us the courage, I think, as well, to do that. So spirit guides have a lot of things to teach us, a lot of things to guide us with. And at any point in time, you can call on them for assistance. It's what they do. It's their job. Right? Now, I'm not saying you call them like every 5 minutes or every time you're in danger. Right? That's not plausible. Don't do that. It'd be like phoning your friend at 2 o'clock in the morning and then phoning them again at 4 o'clock in the morning and then phoning them again at, 9 o'clock in the morning. That be a little bit of a pain in the butt, right? So keep that in mind. Some people will say that they have a guardian angel. Guardian angels to me are spirit guides. I don't use the term guardian angels because to me, guardian angels are just angels. And from what I understand, people use that in that term too. When they are describing guardian angels, they think they're angels. Angels and spirit guides, they have complete different vibrations. Like a spirit guide vibration is here, and an angel vibration is up here. The vibrations are completely different from my experience. It's just like how a spirit guide vibration's here and our vibration's down here, right? Everything has a different vibration. Everything has a different pitch. Everything has a different sound. Everything has a different feeling. And that's how I view it. I'm not going to take away someone's belief, though. If you think you have a guardian angel, you have a guardian angel. That's fine. I'm just stating this from my experience and my experience, pretty much, my opinion. So spirit guides will take on forms that we are most comfortable with. Sometimes they take on forms that don't seem that many, like it doesn't seem that comfortable to us. That's when we can ask them to take on maybe a more nicer form that's more appeasing and more comfortable for us. It's easier for us to communicate to them that way too, so that way we don't feel unease while we're communicating with them. It's the same for little children too, because little children are very sensitive and they see them much differently than how we would see them. So they might see them as something a lot scarier, or something that is extremely big, or something that has lots of teeth, right? Like, these are things that you need to discuss with your child. Like, for instance, I had a spirit guide when I was a child that was a really huge polar bear with these extremely bright blue eyes. It scared me. So my mom told me just ask it to take on a different form, and I did. So it helped, and that's what just needs to be done, is just asking that spirit guide to take on a different form, something that makes you comfortable. Okay, because you have to remember that spirit guides are made out of energy. They're energy based, just like your spirit, my spirit, all energy based, right? So when we leave this vessel, we're just a ball of energy floating by, right? So that's why they're able to manipulate their energy to make a form. All right. Next one I'm going to talk about is spirit animals. Okay. Spirit animals you actually have to find. So you'll actually have to like travel to find your spirit animal. Sometimes they find you, which is kind of rare, unless you do, I suppose, some of the indigenous ceremonies. I guess that's how to put it. My experience is that astral traveling, I had to go find mine. I had to find mine in a cave. And that's how I stumbled on my panther. My panther and I are very bonded, and spirit animals are kind of like your buddy. You still want to take care of them. You still want to treat them as your equal, okay? Because they're, again, right, you have to also consider that they are made of energy, okay? They just take on the form of an animal, all right? And it's an animal that is a part of your spirit. So they've transformed into part of your soul. So my soul representation is a panther. So the way that spirit animals work is basically if you are in need of assistance immediately, or if you are traveling, that's when you call upon your spirit animal. So usually you can travel with your spirit animal together, or if you are feeling like you are in danger when you are doing spirit work, or if you are dealing with malicious spirit, that's when I would call upon my panther to help me out. Especially if I feel like I'm outnumbered, right? So that's when I would call my panther to help me. So I don't know if that would be something I could do meditative-wise for you guys. I don't know about that, just because of the fact that spirit animals can be found here and there and everywhere, and not one specific place. So, spirit animals are one of those things where you would have to find on your own. Like I said, unless, you do it through ritual or through indigenous ways. I know that there's certain ceremonies where fasting is required in order to see your spirit animal or spirit totem. But that's as much information as I can give you on spirit animals, because there's not too much on it, and there's not too much that I can tell you about it other than the fact that my spirit animal is there for when I travel to different places, just in case, and is there for backup or assistance when I need it. And it's always good to visit them as well, because it's almost like having a pet, right? So it's good to check up on them and build that bond, that connection, right? All right, last one is the spirit trinkets. All right. Spirit trinkets are found through many different different ways. So usually when you're doing a meditation, if you do different meditations, okay, if you meet different animals, different creatures, different beings, entities, usually sometimes they even might give you a trinket. Sometimes if you go exploring by yourself, you might find something by yourself on your own that just happens to come up on your travels. These trinkets you collect kind of like your own treasure box of spirit stuff. Okay, so this spirit stuff you can utilize here mundanely, and what I mean by that is it is the intent of using it here. So you can draw the energy of that trinket, draw from that trinket the energy from it, and be able to utilize that energy for its purpose here. So using a healing object that you received from somewhere and drawing the energy off of that trinket, if you focus on it, if you bring it to your mind, okay, you focus on that trinket and you draw that energy off of it and bring it down to you mundanely, okay? It's energy. You can exchange energy. It is possible. It is intent, right? You think about it, manifestation, intent, energy, all these things you can do, right? If you believe in manifestation, why don't you believe in intent and being able to draw off of something from the astral plane back to you, right? So that's the purpose of trinkets, okay? You can use them here, okay? It's not just out there that you can use them. You can use them here, all right? They are also teaching tools, okay? Symbology tools as well. So like if you were to, say, stumble upon something that isn't necessarily a trinket or a tool that you can use or utilize, but is more of a symbology, it's always good to look up that symbology for it. So seeing if you need something, so if it's a rock, say, but you could probably find it here mundanely, right? Maybe look up the metaphysical purpose of that rock or the physical purpose of that rock, and then see if you need it in your pocket for here, right? So sometimes you need to do some research on things when you come back from astral traveling to here. When it comes to symbologies and symbols, like I said, trinkets, you can draw off the energy from them to utilize here if that's what you need to do. I know that there's some things that you can use for clearing or cleansing, kind of similar to what you would use for smudging a house or yourself, but it's a different tool. So I would draw off of that tool and bring it through and use it here. Okay. Does it still have the same effect? Not at the 100% that it would out there, but it still has a very decent effect, right? Okay, so that tool plus your intent and the energy behind it will give it that oomph, right? So that is what you can expect when you are looking into these things, right? So you got your spirit guides, your spirit animals, and your spirit trinkets. There's a whole lot more out there, okay? if you have questions about this type of stuff, right, like, or anything like that, you definitely shoot me a message, DM me through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, okay? And definitely I will answer them. I have no problem answering questions. I think that's all I can really say for right now on this stuff. That's my experience with it, right? And I think that it's also good for you to also branch out and look at other people's research and look at other people's opinions too. Because once again, it's one of those things where you have to find what resonates for you. Okay? Not a lot of people will probably tell you about the trinkets. Or will maybe talk about trinkets or things like that, or especially about being able to bring the energy from a trinket up there to down here. But it's very possible that you can do that. I know, I've done it. I've done it multiple times. Okay? It's no different than me going out there. Okay? It's just the reversal. All right? While we're talking about that, tools, okay, tools-wise, Holywood and sage, mundanely here, okay? Those are tools. Salt is a tool, okay? These things are tools. The tools that we get up there from the trinkets that we get are tools, right? So when we do tools and stuff, really and truly, when it comes down to it, it's all about our intent and the energy behind it. Okay, we're using our intent and we're using our energy. Okay, take away the tool. What do you have? Yourself. Right? So I encourage you to try that. Try taking away that tool and see what the outcome is. Okay? Sure, that tool might heighten things, might make things a little bit more heightened or just a little bit more oomphed for you. But take away that tool and just try it with just intent and pushing that energy, just like you do with smudging. Okay? And see where it goes. As an experiment, just try it. I swear you'll probably be like, whoa. It will be a realization factor, I think, for most of you. Anyways, I digress. Like I said, if you got questions on this stuff, please feel free to shoot me a question and I will answer it for you. Same with if you have any questions in general, shoot me a message and I'll answer them for you. If you want a reading done or a past life painting or a spirit guide painting, once again, send me a message and I'm more than happy to do that for you. All right. You can find me on Facebook through the Eternal Circle page. You can find me on Instagram and you can find me on Twitter. All right. So I hope that you found this interesting and I will continue to keep doing videos. So the next video will be the spirit guide meditation video. And then after that, I will be doing a card pull to see what your spirit guide has to say to you. All right? Or what the spirits have to say to you. All right? Okay, guys, take care of yourselves. And I hope nothing more than positive vibes for all of you. All right.